Yo, yo, what's up?
I remember the days, high right, low left, even Stevens, in fact. Absolutely, I've never done
Okay, hold on. Let's just answer these questions. Your mother of four,
Yeah.
and how many different fathers?
Four.
Holy shit! How many times have you been married?
No.
That ain't gonna work.
I've been proposed to 3 times. But
That ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, I never accepted.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. What I'm saying is not gonna work. There's no marriage to a woman who has 4 kids by 4 different men who's never been married. What guy wants to follow that?
So your answer is I'm done.
As far as marriage, in all likelihood, yeah. I mean, how old are you?
44.
44, four. First off, man, let's take you out of it. Your 2 sons come back and both of them say, "Hey, mom, I found a woman with 4 kids and 4 different men. I'm gonna marry her." You're gonna say, "Go ahead, son. Let's go ahead and plan that up."
Probably not.
Exactly.
So excited to even talk about this.
I'm gonna tell you this.
So excited to even talk about this. So if you all have paid attention to the news, Forza Horizon 6 is supposed to be set in Japan, and that's a pretty big deal. We're talking about easily a top five like greatest places to even go visit.
What's better than a great touchdown? 5 great touchdowns.
Jamal Charles was cooking. Okay, man.
See, those are grown man touchdowns right there.
What is that supposed to mean? Grown man touchdowns.
Is so bizarrely compromised. It's so weird when you watch these narratives spin both on the left and on. It's weird to be any person in the public eye, but in this time, it's particularly weird. If you're like one of the only people, I mean, the media is so bizarrely compromised. It's so weird when you watch these narratives spin both on the left and on the right. And like, is anybody fucking rational? Is anybody looking at and there's so few that a comedian like yourself just rises to the top of the heap.
Well, it's funny, dude, because since the last time I was on, this has been kind of like the knock on me in a way now.
Is that you're a comedian?
You're just a comedian.
You're
This
my
guy's not an
emotional
expert.
support comedian.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Have you ever been
It
an
feels
emotional
weird.
support
It
comedian?
feels weird doing this without Doug, to be honest.
Aw.
It seems kind of wrong. But that's been like essentially that's like the knock is like, yeah, but you're acting like you're an expert, but you're just some comedian. And it's like, no, that's the point. That's always been the point. Like, yes, I'm just a comedian. I'm not an expert. And still, being not an expert, hand me your favorite Warhawk and I will tear them to shreds because it's actually not that hard. And like, these people aren't really experts either.
Well, also the problem with that is these people that are talking about these things are talking about people not being experts while they're not experts.
Yeah.
There's, what does Doug have a degree in English?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. There's Sam Harris is a neuroscientist.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these different people who have, expertise in one area that is pretty much outside geopolitical, world politics and international relations and chaos and war and the military industrial complex. Like, these are very, very complex, sophisticated, nuanced discussions that you have to have when you're talking about these things, because there's so many different factors at play. There's so much money. There's so much bullshit in terms of like, what's the truth? What's the narrative? Who's pushing the narrative? Who's being paid to push the narrative? Which is really weird. There's so many of these fucking online influencers that I don't even think are really human beings that have like prominent accounts.
Yep. But then there's also it's a convenient kind of way to dismiss somebody.
Of course,
because
instead of addressing the facts.
well, I thought was really funny to me was that so like a few days after the last time after me and Douglas Murray debated on the show, he went on Bill Maher's show. And so it's like after having this whole thing, the whole 45 minutes opening the show about how you comedians don't know what you're talking about. Says don't know what you're talking while he's smearing two people who he's never heard of and doesn't even know what they do or whatever. But not the best way to make an appeal to expertise. But no, he doesn't have a problem with Bill Maher doing it because he agrees with him. So the issue isn't really being an expert versus being a comedian. Konstantin Kassin went on this whole thing about expertise and all of this, and it's like he also started as a comedian. Why all of a sudden does this standard only apply to me and only when I'm talking about Israel? It never applied to me when I was talking about COVID. It never applied to me when they agreed with me on stuff. Right. They would just go, look, Dave, breaking it down. But now there's this one topic that one guy is not allowed to not be an expert on. And it happens to be this one topic that the entire population is turning on. I shouldn't say the entire, but
it's
huge
obvious
numbers.
When someone attacks what you do professionally versus what you're actually saying.
Yeah.
Why not just dispute what he's saying instead of this appeal to authority?
Right.
You're not an expert.
But also, to ask that question is to answer that question.
No, you can only ask me a few things in life that I can give you definitive answers on. And even then, I might have to refer to expert. You want to ask me about judo. I've been doing jujitsu since 90, I think I started in 97, somewhere around then. 96 maybe. I don't know shit about judo.
Right.
I know how to do a few hip tosses, but when someone is doing something, I don't even know what it's called. If I go Haragoshi, I might get it wrong because Haragoshi might be legs on the outside versus leg on the inside. Wrestling, I got to defer to DC. Even in martial arts, I'm not totally an expert.
Yeah, and then there might be somebody who is totally an expert, say a wrestler who went to the Olympics,
right?
And with a total expert or a coach or something like that, total expert in wrestling, and they could still get something about MMA completely off
or jiu-jitsu.
Right,
it happened in the last fight, in the last UFC card. Daniel Cormier didn't know about the dead orchard. So he thought this person was fine because they had two arms in while they were caught in a triangle. I go, no, this is a real submission. This is fucking dangerous. Like
Right.
there's this guy, Nathan Orchard, who figured out how to do a triangle with 2 arms in, and it's replicable. A lot of guys do it now. And I think it was a lady at the last UFC had it. And I was like, oh shit. And Daniel didn't know it yet. There's a couple other things like the buggy choke. If you don't know about jiu-jitsu and you see a guy who's on his back and he's getting smothered, but all of a sudden he reaches under with his leg and I'm going, oh, and you don't know what's going on. Like that's a fucking choke, like a really
Right.
dangerous one. Ty Ruotolo gets you in that, you're Fucksville. You know, there's guys, so it's like there's areas of expertise, even in areas that I'm an expert in, that I have to call on other people. Like this is a stupid argument. Like, what are the facts? Does that submission work? Is that genocide?
Right.
Like what is, you know, what's going on? Were you funding Hamas? Is Hezbollah a proxy of Iran? Did Iran get the money to do this when Biden released the funds? Because who's allowed to be an expert on all these things?
Yeah, and then of course there are things like do you support lockdowns? And like in order to have say an expert opinion on this policy, it's like, okay, well, you'd be like, they'd say we're following the science. You know, so in other words, they have an epidemiologist or something like that who's arguing lockdowns will cut down on the transmission of the virus. No, forget they turned out to be wrong, but leaving that aside, you're like, okay, but are they also an economist? Are they also a specialist, a sociologist, a specialist in childhood development who would tell you what closing the schools? Oh, who's the person who has expertise in every single one of those fields? Doesn't exist. There isn't an expert in all of those fields. You know what I mean?
That was the problem with that time, because that time everyone was so fearful, and the news was pushing fear, and it was clearly a narrative. I forget who it was, but some health official was being interviewed recently. He said that during 2020 that Anthony Fauci said to him, the problem is Americans aren't scared enough, which is crazy to say. It's a wild thing to say, that your goal is to make people more fearful. So you're trying to put out a narrative that makes people more fearful, which, by the way, fucks with your immune system in a gigantic way. Not good at all to be scared. I don't know how many people got really, really, really sick from COVID because when they got it, they freaked the fuck out and they couldn't sleep and they thought they were going to die and they were riddled with anxiety. And that makes you attack people around you. And then you look for a solution. And when these trusted institutions, which up until 5 fucking years ago, I was 100% on board with everything, with vaccines, with every medical innovation, other than psychiatric medications, which I think are pretty much overprescribed.
I'll help you get Sebastian Klein. What is there to explain? Sebastian doesn't love you, Natalie. Cassie, she was supposed to marry Sebastian in the first place.
All of a sudden, everyone's like hoping these people have the answer. So anybody who's going, but there's this guy Jay Bhattacharya, you know, he's also an expert. They're like, fuck you, fuck you. It's like an anti-science, trust the science, COVID denier, vaccine denier. It just became this fearful response because everybody just responded to the fucking media because everybody's too tuned in to all of this negative shit, man, all day long.
Well, you have to scare people. You know, if you want to implement like a tyrannical policy, you almost always have to scare people. I mean, that's
the only way.
Now everyone knows, right? Like you just said, like being terrified is not good for your health. That on a human level, we also all know that it's not good for good decision making. You know, but it is excellent for I will turn my brain off and give the authority to you to go do. I mean, look, it was right after 9/11. If you know, people forget about this, but like the level to which Dick Cheney and George W. Bush used to fearmonger. Dick Cheney, the vice president of the United States of America, who is a bit more than just your average vice president, he said, it's not a matter of if, but when there will be another 9/11 attack. They were trying to tell the American people right after 9/11 to be in a constant state of fear.
Do you remember the COVID warnings where they had colors? Or excuse me, the terror warning where they had colors?
The threat level or whatever. Yeah. And then one day they'd be like, it's up to yellow.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were really still traumatized from 9/11. But the thing about it is that they knew what they wanted to do. They knew the policy they wanted to start embarking on. And it was the mix of they hate the big lie, which was they hate us for our freedom, which was like really the big lie after 9/11 was like, because the American people very organically wanted to know what the beef was. Like 9/11 happened, everybody was like, yo, why do they hate us?
Right.
What's this beef about? And their answer was they hate you for your freedom. And by the way, this is going to happen again. So be terrified. Second off, understand that they're so irrational that their beef with you is that like your grandma can go to the grocery store. So what do you do with that? Other than say what the American people said, which is George W. Bush, you have a blank check to go attack whoever you want to, and we'll support you.
Yeah, I remember feeling that way. Right? I remember feeling it's up to these fucking guys, these hard-nosed generals and military leaders these are the guys that are going to protect us now. We got to put all our faith in them. This shit is real and it's going on. But I had no idea. So 2001, I wasn't that much of a conspiracy theorist. I was into UFOs. I was into Bigfoot. I was into stupid shit. I was into fun, stupid shit.
Right.
Me and Eddie Bravo would get high and watch space documentaries and freak out about aliens. The stupid shit. But then the Patriot Act came along. And I was like, okay, what the fuck is this? Like, what does indefinite detention mean? When they signed the NDAA, you're like, what? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? What is the month? What it rhymes with cunt? The act that Obama passed in 2015 that allowed them to use censorship propaganda on American citizens.
Yeah.
Months,
something like that. Yep.
It's like, okay. At what point in time do I start getting really fucking suspicious?
Yep.
I had read one book a long time ago that really fucked me up. This book called Best Evidence about the Kennedy assassination. And unfortunately, I read it right before I went on stage. I was by myself. I was in Philadelphia and I was headlining. And this is like when I was just starting to headline, right? And so had a show Thursday, killed. Everything's great. Went back to my hotel room. Nothing to do. Read this fucking book for like 6 hours. Freaked the fuck out. Showed up at the show like ashen faced, like, oh my God, they killed the president. Like I had never even considered that before that book.
Right.
I never even thought that there's like secret government agencies that plot against the president. I thought that's the fucking man, and everybody works together. And Lee Harvey Oswald was a nut, and he fucking shot him. And I'm like, oh my God. And I bombed. I fucking bombed. And I apologized to the staff. I apologized to the manager. I go, listen, I fucked up, and I read this book right before I got here. And it really fucked me up. It's done that before, man.
When you have your mind blown like that, you need time after that before you make it funny.
Oh,
like it takes time to like then almost come back to it a few months later. You should never
engage in that kind of stuff like right before you go on stage. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Anything real and ominous so I had a second show and it went great. But I was like, okay, I can't ever do that again. But that started me. But that was just peripheral. It was just the JFK thing. I was only interested in that. I didn't get into Nixon. I didn't get into Vietnam. I didn't get into any of that stuff. But September 11, 2001, in the beginning, it was wonderful. After the attack, everyone was so friendly. It's terrible that this thing happened. It's terrible that these people died. But it made me think, like, every now and then, we need to get bitch slapped. It's like when you see people, like, getting in people's faces for, like, waving an American flag, fuck you, fascist. A bitch slap every now and then, like that guy might go, fucking, what was I doing? I just ran up to that veteran and I got in his face because I wanted to impress my lesbian girlfriend. Like, the fuck is wrong with me? I don't know how to fight. I know I got a concussion and this guy bitch slapped me. It's on TikTok. Fuck. You need that sometimes just as like a course reset. I felt like as a country, we've been doing shady shit all around the world forever. And there's real war happening everywhere, but we're super lucky because we're separated by oceans and not too much has really happened here. Oh my God, this is real. And everybody had an American flag on their fucking car. And when I was in New York City afterwards, we were filming Fear Factor one day, and everyone was so cool. And firemen were rock stars.
Yep.
Cops were rock stars. Everybody was thanking them. Everybody was thanking them for their service. It was great. We hung out with these firemen in front of this bar, me and the Fear Factor crew. These guys were fucking, it's like I was hanging out with Brad Pitt. It was nuts. Everybody was so thankful. Where did that go?
Yeah, I was there. I was in New York City on 9/11, and I remember. So I was in Brooklyn, like only a few miles from the World Trade Center, and like.
Did you physically see it?
No, so I remember seeing,
Melt sales objections with this book. I just got my black book of questions in the mail. And look at this thing.
I think, so when I got out of school, I was in high school, I was a senior in high school, and we got out. One of the girls like forged a note, and said it was from our parents or something like that. I forget exactly how it worked, but we got out. It was like, I was friends with the security guard. I used to buy weed from him. It was a different time. But yeah, it was a different time. Pre 9/11, we were just all hanging out buying weed from security guards at schools. But so he let us out. So I remember I'm pretty sure when we came to Flatbush Ave, we saw like there was smoke in the air, but both the towers had fallen by the time we got out. But there were people. So the subways had been out for a while. And where I was like on Flatbush Avenue, if anyone knows Brooklyn, it's like Flatbush and 7th Avenue. So this is like, it's kind of a straight shoot down to the Manhattan Bridge, and then the Brooklyn Bridge is down there too. But the Brooklyn Bridge you can walk over. And so at this point already, people who were down in the financial district had just decided to walk back to Brooklyn because they realized they weren't going to get a cab or get on the subway. And so you'd see just like one guy in a suit and tie covered in soot, head to toe, like walking up like, oh, he must have just been down there and walked up. But I remember, now this was in Brooklyn, but even there it was very busy, but people were stopping and asking each other, people who you would pass on the street but never talk to, were stopping and asking everyone, how's your family? Everyone okay? All right. Are you fine? Like there was this like community spirit that you don't typically get in New York City. There's just too many people. You can't talk to everybody.
Yeah.
But that part of it was kind of beautiful. And then of course governments do what they do and immediately manipulated that into launching wars that they wanted from before 9/11 that had absolutely nothing to do with 9/11.
Yeah.
Which is,
Also, the Patriot Act was a bunch of shit they had tried to pass
Mhm.
for a while, for years. And everyone's like, what are you, fucking crazy?
Well,
No.
This is the thing, and I guess maybe it's partly like my age because I was 18 at the time, and this is like my coming of age, time.
Right.
But I will never stop being furious about all of that shit. And this is like still to this day, I'm sure you see it when I'm on podcasts with you and doing debates and stuff. But I'm so angry over the war in Iraq and the subsequent wars and Libya and Syria and Somalia and Yemen and all of them. But specifically because like all these guys, the neoconservatives, the N-word that I'm not supposed to bring up. By the way, Douglas Murray wrote a book called Neoconservatism, Why We Need It. But when I say the word neoconservatism, be careful what you're watering here or something like that.
Is that what they said?
I
didn't know that this was an issue, that you can't discuss neoconservatism.
Well, that's Douglas said when I was on with him. He said, the N-word. When I brought it up, and then said I'm watering something because I mentioned Wolfowitz.
Okay, so that's anti-Semitism.
Right,
He's leaning
right.
into. Well, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
You're talking about something incredibly important.
Well,
Like
the
neoconservatism. Why would that be a thing that you can't discuss? That
Well,
sounds crazy.
The rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets. Saturdays just got way more fun. College football is back, Whistle, with something special for
Hill Casino and Resort in Canton.
Well, I mean, I'd say the answer is that those guys got into power. They really hijacked American foreign policy after 9/11 because they happened to all be in power in the Bush administration. Then 9/11 happened on their watch. But if you go back and read the shit they read, and I will never stop talking about this because it's just too goddamn crazy. But if you read all of these guys, the guys who were in the George W. Bush administration, I mean, like the signatories on the Project for a New American Century, which was their think tank, the PNAC as it's called, were like Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld and Paul Wolfowitz and Fife and Richard Pearl and David Wormser. It was the whole group who took over the government were all, and they wrote explicitly in the Project for a New American Century that they were like, look, okay, the Soviet Union has collapsed. We are, for the first time in human history, like the lone superpower in the world. So what we should do right now is fight multiple wars because no one threatens us. And so therefore, we should fight multiple wars. Right now, we have an opportunity to remake the world, overthrow the old Soviet sock puppet states, install our own states there, and guarantee, as the name says, the new American century of dominance, the 21st century. And they specifically said they want to overthrow Saddam Hussein. And then they specifically said and now this is something that the 9/11 truthers really held on to. I'm not sure. I think they might be overplaying their hand a little bit here, but they say, there's one document in the Project for a New American Century, you can find it online, where they straight up say, they go, now look, this is what we want to do, but we're unlikely to get mass American support for it, short of another Pearl Harbor type event. And so a lot of people like Alex Jones and a lot of the 9/11 truthers would point to this phrase and go, see, this is the proof that they knew they needed another Pearl Harbor, so they planned their own Pearl Harbor. Now, that is not necessarily true. It doesn't necessarily prove that, but it certainly does change the way you think about their mind state when they sit there watching the towers get attacked. And they all, at the very least, they all went, we got it.
You know, Alex Jones predicted 9/11.
This little thing helped me more than my last therapy session. It's called the Pandy, a lifelike plush toy designed and powered by AI. It makes you feel loved.
11 in July.
Yeah. But that's not quite as unique as I think some people think it is.
Really?
Well, like people, so like
You ever hear how he said it?
Yeah, I've heard the clip. It was pretty good. I mean, I'm not like taking anything away from that. He was right, but there were a bunch of people who predicted it. Ron Paul himself predicted it perfectly.
Did they predict planes into the towers?
Let's just say, no, I don't know about that. That is pretty impressive. But at the same time, you know,
But planes had never flown into towers before.
that's true, but the World Trade Center was attacked by Al Qaeda guys in
It's a
93.
Biggie song.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Adrian Appalucci has the
Was it
funniest
93?
joke about that. I believe so. Do you ever hear Adrian's joke about
No.
that? Did you get? I don't want to butcher it on your show, but Adrian Appalucci is a
She's so
hilarious
funny.
comedian. She had a joke about how, you know, in that song where Biggie goes, "Time to get paid, blow up like the World Trade," that they bleep World Trade now, and then her bit is how they didn't bleep. Like he was talking about the first one, but they
Right.
bleep it because of the second. You know,
Yeah.
the towers came down. But then her bit is just like, you go like, that wasn't enough of a tragedy to make it bleeped. It's like a funny, it's like only a few people died. Like it was cool. But then a lot of people died there. She's a phenomenal joke writer.
Well, it was a different time. Back then, they would have never bleeped anything. They didn't bleep the N-word. They didn't bleep anything.
Yeah, it was the Wild West.
Well, it's weird when you hear about. So I don't know if I fully buy into any of this, but as a caveat before I get rolling. But when people discuss the
All right. I haven't done a time lapse video in a while. I really should have did it while I was painting the lips, but I'm gonna do it for at least like some of the skin tone, and I might do it for the glasses as well. So let's try to. I'm gonna put the phone on the stand and see if we can get a little time lapse going. All right. I think that might be a good position right there. All right, and we're rolling with the time lapse. The holiday weekend is upon us. I told one of my homeboys I took Friday off too to have a longer weekend. He's like, "Dang, bro, you going home to see the family?" I said, "Hell nah. I miss them, but I ain't making no trip down there. Not in 4 days. I mean, you can do it, but I don't see the point sometimes. Because if you drive, it's basically a day. It's a whole half a day to get down there. It's like 11, 12-hour drive. So the day you travel down, you're not doing shit really that whole day except driving. By the time you get there, whatever, depending on what time you get there, you're hungry and you're tired. And then you get a couple days and then got to turn back around and take another day just to get back up here. So when I do go home, I like to be home for like 3-4 days. That's like I'd be needing damn near a week off. But I gotta look into maybe taking a trip in November. My cousin has been living in Alabama for a while, and I've never been down there to see her yet. But she sent out a Thanksgiving invite. Now I don't know who all on the list. I know I got mine. So just for her even putting me on the list, on the invite list, I feel like I need to take a trip down there and check her out. I ain't really get to hang with my cousin in years now. The last time we hung out for a little while was earlier this year at our other cousin's wedding. But once again, I went down there on the wedding was the last day that I could be in town. So right after the wedding, I had to haul ass, get back on the down highway. But that's why I went earlier, like a few days earlier, because we wanted to do the bachelor party thing, and we had to get our suits and stuff. But she came up to South Carolina from Alabama for the wedding. But nobody don't ever want to come all the way up to PA though. Motherfuckers don't never want to come up this far. Somebody playing Soulja Boy U. Crank that Soulja Boy. Wendy. Yeah, my day went pretty good today. I had a new participant come in for job search and stuff, and He's actually the brother of one of our directors, and she's a little nutty herself. But my brother is really nutty. He so he's been looking for a job for about a year, but he has an extensive background as an audio engineer for like network television and concerts and stuff like that. And he lived in some pretty big cities, you know, in the late 80s and early 90s. Said, you know, their father wasn't doing well a couple years ago, so he came home and things just really haven't been working out since he's been back in the area. And he's looking for work in the same field, but I don't know, like honestly, when the last time he actually had a job like that in a studio or somewhere, because he's like refusing to advance his typing proficiency. So we have a intake form for new clients who come in. It's just like some basic information so we can, you know, track our numbers, see who we're working with, and open up a case file and just, you know, because most of our stuff is based on grants and donations, and so we just got to keep like really good numbers of stuff and exactly see what people are looking for when they come to us. And we have a new version that's on our computer. And so he came in and I pulled it up for him. He was like, "Oh, I can't do that." Like you can't do what? "Oh, I can't fill this out online. You're gonna have to give me a paper copy." I'm like, "That's fine." So I got him a paper copy. But he kept going on and on about like how he hates to type and this and that, and nobody's calling him back. But he seems to be going about his job search in the wrong manner. So I tried to explain to him things are just not the same as they were 20 years ago, bro. And he doesn't seem to um, really comprehend that at all. Yeah, well, he's an older gentleman, so just trying to just trying to really get through to him. Like nowadays, applying for employment, 90% of any kind of application or onboarding process is going to be digital on a computer. That's just the way the world is going now. Everything is digital stuff. And like I say, we used to have a paper intake form, but now it's digitized. And luckily, we are considering people like him who may not be that proficient in typing. So we print out a paper copy of the new digital form. And so we do try, but that's not everywhere you're going to go. And some employers aren't going to be as readily available to help people like that. And so you just have to, you know, apply for jobs the way people want you to apply for jobs. But then like I say, he's really old school. He doesn't really he doesn't submit applications for employment. He tries to find someone at a company and then send them his resume in their personal email. And it's like, yeah, some companies do that. You know, if you're looking for employment here, contact S Chandler at such and such.com. But most big employers just say go to our website and fill out our application and submit it with along with your resume. That's normally how it's done. But he told me a scenario of, oh well, he looked at this one company that was a production company, and he found like the list of employees in their emails, and he sent 27 people in one company like his resume and stuff. No real explanation of what he's looking for, or when can he start work or anything. He just is like, yeah, just send everybody my resume, and out of 20 something people, only one person contacted me back, and the one person asked, why are you sending me this? I'm like, dude, because you could be sending that shit to fucking the janitor's email, or you could be sending it to the executive email, and they don't have anything to do with hiring. Or you could send it to the lobby secretary. Like, you don't know who these people are, and you're just sending it to them just because it says, you know, M. Mary at XYZ company. And then he says, yeah, but if they're working for a production company, it doesn't matter where they're working or what position they have. If they see my resume saying that I'm an audio engineer, they should just pass it off to the person who should get it. And I'm like, in a perfect world, you think that's how people would respond to some random email that they get from some random person they never talked to about nothing really other than sending some resumes and credentials. But unfortunately, people don't think like that. And most of the time, shit looks like spam coming from an external email that of a person I don't know or I've never spoken to before. This shit looks like a fucking spam, and they're gonna like gloss over it and delete that shit. So like, he was hard up on not filling out applications and instead trying to find an internal source to contact directly. And for a lot of big companies, you're just not going to be able to do that. There's a fucking chain of command in the process that people have. Shit, I dropped my brush. Don't worry, I got it. The right, correct, and proper channels, and he is refusing to acknowledge that. Bro, this isn't fucking 1997 California where you can like make connects and get a business card and somebody and somebody, and then they put you in contact with somebody like, eh, especially if you're not actively out trying to network and shit like that. That's not how it goes anymore, bro. And then he says, well, I don't have to be in studio production. He says he'll do anything as long as it can guarantee him $500 a week with possible overtime, um, 40 hours guaranteed, and like a couple other things like guaranteed. And I'm like, I can imagine there are jobs like that is exactly like what you're saying, X amount of dollars, X amount of hours, and you know that you're going to work that every week, but you have to go look for that, bro. You have to put in some initiative to find that type of position. And you're really not. You're really not putting in the fucking effort, dude. He just seems like he wants the job to fall in his lap, which I'm not saying isn't impossible because my current job fell in my lap, literally. I am extremely lucky to have the position I have because I didn't go seeking for it. I didn't, do an extensive online search and researching and source searching, none of that shit. I just talked to somebody and they said, hey, you should go try to apply for this place. And I was like, cool, awesome. I went and applied and got hired. So once again, that shit don't happen for everybody like that. And at the time when I was looking for this job, I had just got another job that I actually was looking for. What? Did I do that wrong? I think I did. God damn it. Son of a bitch. This braid is too close to her face. Fuck me. I need more room right here. She's wearing an earring. I'm gonna try to do that. So her earring is like here. Or is it a little bit lower? Maybe something like that. Wendy, so how was your day? The world of audio is a hard place to get into. I've been there, and it's almost, if you don't know somebody, you're not gonna get the job. And for what he's looking for, either someone retires, dies, or has willing to start over at the bottom. And ain't that the truth? And if you're so, and then he went on this thing and said that something about Pro Tools, and he looked up one studio wanted him to be able to use Pro Tools, but he looked it up and it was like $6,000 for the program. And then he looked up like Pro Tools School of Engineering to actually learn how to work Pro Tools, and he said to go to the school is like $6,000. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think you can get a Pro Tools for like a few $100. I think even one of the Pro packages is only like $300 or something like that. And Pro Tools, like a light version, is like $120. And there's some clones and copies that are free, that are basically Pro Tools with a different skin on it, and that shit is free. And as far as learning how to operate Pro Tools proficiently, a YouTube University. You don't have to go to some school for a semester and get fucking 60 credit hours for fucking Pro Tools, bro. So I don't know who you think, like, I know you know your shit and you've been doing this for a long time, but anyone with just a basic understanding of like production and shit like that, like, dude, Pro Tools don't cost that fucking much. And I almost looked it up while he was sitting in front of me, but I didn't want to, like, you know, put him on the spot. But yeah, Pro Tools don't cost $6,000. Even if you're talking about some network television, goddamn major production type equipment or programming, even nowadays, I don't think any of that shit is going to be $6,000 just for the software. And he's like, that's not even including like the equipment you need to run Pro Tools on. I'm like, a laptop, nigga? A laptop? The laptop is a good laptop is $1,000, bro. A really, really good laptop is $2,500. Stop trying to game me, bro. You're not really looking for work, nigga. You making excuses. You just making excuses why you can't work. And I think you enjoy that more than actually working. I'm too overqualified. Nobody won't hire me. Blah 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 blah. You're just making excuses why you can't work. And then, well, I try other fields, even like industrial or commercial or warehouse, and it's like nobody picks me up there either. I'm like, bro, because you're not filling out applications. You just can't email somebody at the company and be like, give me a job. You don't even say give me a job. You just send them your fucking 10 different documents about your resume, your credentials, and your work history. Like, he literally, I'm not even exaggerating. It's 10 documents. It's 10 PDFs he has that he sends to people. And I'm like, you shouldn't send that to anybody unless they absolutely request this information. The only thing you should send, if you're going to try to do it that way, is your resume in the emails explaining that you know the company and why you want to work there. And this is an old timer, just like, bro, like, how did you get any of these other jobs you ever had? You say shit must have been hella different back in the day. Like you say, just talk to somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and they got the opening at CBS for an audio guy. Can you start next week? Yeah, sure. Okay, you got the job. Shit ain't like that anymore. Positions are getting slim because 20 years ago it took fucking X amount of people to produce a decent show. Nowadays it takes like half the amount of people. Uh, yeah, Pro Tools. It's not free. Not like the official Pro Tools software. That shit ain't free, but it ain't 6 grand either. 20 G's. Okay. That's what I'm thinking, bro. Like, you don't have to have that the most expensive shit. You can get Pro Tools Lite, Pro Tools Introduction, or Pro Tools whatever studio. You don't have to get the fucking full outfit of every fucking thing to understand it and become proficient at it. And YouTube is free. So if you invest in the software and take the time to train yourself, at least for the basic understandings. I can imagine that's like you said, that's some fucking super state of the art, high level Hollywood production soundstage type shit. If you're working for the news channel, even the news channel don't need all of that shit, man. They got one fucking introduction music jingle or riff that they bum bum bum. This is Saturday Night News, and then that's it, bro. How you don't need $20,000 worth of Pro Tools to fucking get the music on there, make sure the mics are synced up, vocal levels are evened out. You can pan from one speaker to the other if you need be, and like, yeah, that shit ain't $20. You talking about making some goddamn Jurassic Park type shit where you gotta take a alligator roar and a tiger roar and a rhinoceros yell and blend all these things together to make it sound like a fucking dinosaur. Y'all not doing that. You know, y'all not doing that. You're not on a fucking soundstage making sound effects for goddamn a battle scene on a fucking on an English countryside somewhere with fucking Vikings and shit. Y'all not doing that at the news station. You just gotta hear these motherfuckers' voices clear. And that's what I told him too. There's a bunch of clones of that shit, man. There's a bunch of clones that work just as well. I think Pro Tools can charge because they're one of the first innovators and they just have a really decent name and reputation now. But there's a bunch of other little baby clones out there that are basically Pro Tools in a different skin. Same shit, same functionality, same quality. If Pro Tools has been around for so fucking long, like who hasn't cloned that shit or copied that shit or reiterated on the different programs that it utilizes? This dude just wanted to be woe is me. I'm too good at what I do for people to hire me in this area. Okay. I feel you, OG, but I mean, if you want to eat, you gotta work, man. Yeah, I think he's just unwilling to if you want to stay viable in the market, you have to be willing to learn new skills. Period. That's that's it. If you're a fucking mechanic, you've been a mechanic for goddamn 42 years, you still got to learn how to work on these fucking hybrid cars and these EVs and all this shit. Because things have changed. Everything is just not some big block fucking engine with a carburetor on it. I can't even imagine like the switch up from the carburetor to the fuel injection, like how big of a learning curve that was for mechanics. And shit ain't gonna stay the same forever, bro. I remember a couple years ago, I needed something minor, an oil change or something on the car, and called my mechanic to set up an appointment. He was like, "Nah, we're gonna be down." They went. He took him and his crew down to Maryland for training on whatever kind of car or whatever kind of new systems they were training on. But it was some new stuff that he felt like his whole crew needs to know so they can be better mechanics with these newer cars that have fucking auto correction features. So when you get too close to the line, it starts beeping at you, and automatic slowdown if you're on cruise control and the vehicle gets in front of you, your vehicle slows down. Like all those systems, guys got to know how to work on that shit. So they took like a week course on new automotive systems and features. Why? Because shit is gonna keep changing. Motherfucker, you got to keep up with the times and understand the new technology. This dude is refusing. And that's exactly where he's at, bro. Stubborn. That's exactly where he's at. He's like, no, I did this for so long. I'm really good at it. This dude on his resume, it says a satellite van. A satellite van? I say, bro, don't you know most of these news anchors, it'll be the anchor and the cameraman, and they drove their own car because the camcorder or whatever has the satellite feature in it now. Niggas don't need satellite vans anymore. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that some news stations still have some of those big vans, but at the same time, like, how many people does it take to operate that thing now? If you're trying to do a live nationwide broadcast somewhere, yeah, you might need that satellite van. But once again, for some local news that's gonna stay locally, and that if it's not live, hey, it's just you and the fucking digital camcorder now. Just stubborn. Scam caller. Son of a bitch. They listening to all your phone calls, your conversations with your relations. They listening. Uh-oh. I'm knocking the camera around. Don't knock my camera down. Come on, people. Come on. Come on. I'm busy doing shit, dude. These motherfuckers won't quit. I'm gonna have to sue somebody for harassment. Need me a quick little lawsuit. A quick little, you know what I mean? Need me a quick little come up. They harassing me. I have emotional distress. I need $5 million. I might have to let that dry before I put those white highlights on there. I think I'll do that. Let it dry a little bit. Let it dry a little bit. All right. We got us a nice little few minutes of time lapse. Nice little few minutes of time lapse. You know what I'm saying? But time lapse ain't done too bad, you know?
No sé, la verdad. Porque miras para atrás. Sí, pero que no para, el ejercicio no para. ¿Cómo así? Pero ese ejercicio, ¿por qué estás haciéndolo ahora así? Cabra, tú.
Let's just use the.
Laura, tú sabes que yo te amo. Sí. Tú me amas.
That's crazy.
Mucho, mucho amor. Ay, qué lindo.
Show has no ads, the most authentic.
And need multiple wives. Yeah, I said it. One can be in charge of cooking, one can be in charge of cleaning, one can be in charge of the kids, the finances. Think of how much ground you can cover if there's more than one wife for that king. All right then. You know, if that guy's protecting, providing, making sure the house is good, y'all are good, what is the problem? And I don't want to hear, oh no, that's cheating. No, baby girl, it's bigger than that. There's an order, there's a structure to it. You know, kings deserve an empire. What is wrong with having?
You tell him, girl. I need 7 wives. I seen this earlier. We call him a spear chucker.
Waiting on you. You look like you just smoked some dope. Go ahead. Waiting on you. Scared? I wouldn't be in the street, nigga. I wouldn't be in the street. I'm waiting for you to make a mistake so I can bounce you. Come on. Come on. Step on that property, see what happens. Pull one step on it. You know better, boy. They're already on the way, man. I'm just trying to keep you here. Okay, cool. Go ahead. You know what? You ain't got no balls. Really? It's right here for your face. Go ahead. And I'm at work. Hey, come on.
He fucking with this man while he at work.
Y'all see this shit, bro? Do something. Skinny ass fucking crackhead. That's all we want. Come on. Do something. You're right. Come on. Do something. You're right. Come on, in your face. Come on. Here I am. Right here. Go ahead. That's a shot. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. We've got millions of free child place holidays available, with 22 kilograms of baggage included. But now, with Jet2 holidays, package holidays you can trust, and Trinidad protected.
It's not even it's not even a racial thing. It's the bully thing. I just love to see the bullies get beat up. You antagonize this man. Say, I'm at work, bro. Why are you fucking with me? I'm at work. Antagonizer, start kicking this man, and then you call him a skinny crackhead. So that means you just got beat up by a skinny crackhead. That's crazy, son. That is crazy. Out of your own mouth. So what you gonna tell your homies, man? This crackhead was strong as shit. You say you just a skinny crackhead. How you let a skinny crackhead fucking dirt you, nigga? Oh my God, it was this shit talking, bro. You talking too much shit. And this man said twice, I'm at work, bro. I'm not trying to do this shit. You trying to fight me when I'm at work? I'm at work, nigga. Come on. You ain't got no balls. Like you just smoked some dope, you spear chucking nigger. You just a skinny crackhead. Dude, roll your ass out, bro. Well, I'm out. Yo, Omizu. How you doing? I follow like one Instagram page that's about, it's called Bullies Getting Hurt. Don't bully people, bro. And you won't get knocked the fuck out. Period. You know, that's that fuck around and find out shit. You gonna bully the wrong one. You didn't got away with that shit for too long, talking all that gangster shit and huffing up and puffing up at people, and you scare everybody else away when you huff and puff up and start cursing and shit. Everybody not scared of that shit, bro. Everybody not scared of you. You got your family and your friend group and your neighbors thinking you're some fucking super badass tough guy because nobody really fucking test your ass. But when the right motherfucker test you, your chin is weak as shit, nigga. You got a super de duper weak chin. And you went straight down. And then you on the ground talking about, That's why I can't talk shit, man. I'm not the one to talk shit. I'm the one I'd rather defend myself. I don't need to be the cause of a fisticuffs altercation. I'm not trying to cause an altercation. I don't ever want to fight, period. But I will defend myself 100%. 100% I will defend myself. Period. Like that dude on the boat from the other day, yesterday, I would have threw his ass with the gators. I'm gonna defend myself, man. And the same thing, this guy, whether he's a UPS driver, FedEx driver, whatever he was doing at work, then you gotta deal with some fucking hard ass talking shit. You just trying to get your shift over and fucking go home and have some dinner. This motherfucker wanna act all brolic and shit. Now you was forced to beat his ass. You made me do this, man. I gave you so many chances to walk away, bro. And then you fucking punched me, you kicked me. And then you made me. You made me defend myself, bro. And luckily that shit is all on camera. Try to press charges or whatever for fucking assault and battery, whatever. Go ahead and try to press the charges, bro. The shit on camera. And now we both famous, nigga. Now we both internet famous. You for the wrong reasons. You know, fucked up your little tough guy reputation in your neighborhood. You know that, right? And how that shit went down on camera and all that shit you were saying before getting knocked out, you can't never live this shit down. And now everybody who kind of know you're racist or they kind of have like the assumption, but they never really seen it outright. Now they just know for a fact you're a racist dickhead and you can't fight. You're a racist dickhead and you can't even fight, bro. That's crazy. Yo, VX, I didn't even see you pop in. I was zoomed in so close to the canvas for this session, trying to get some damn content. Everything is content. Everything is content. Everything is content. Everything is content. We're right at 5 o'clock. Traffic's been a little heavy lately this week. Normally I can get home like right at 3. I'm getting home like 10 after. So many trucks on the highway. I know we're gearing up for the holiday seasons and shit too. But goddamn, like there just seemed like way more truck activity. And these motherfuckers be in the passing lane. Won't let you go around. Like, bro, you on the clock, man. You got all day. I'm trying to get my ass home. I'm off work. I'm not working right now. But your big ass won't get the fuck out the goddamn passing lane so I can do 80 miles an hour. Get my ass home. I've been trying, guys. I ain't gonna lie. I've been really trying to get this motherfucker done, bro. We'll work on her glass. Oh, no. God damn it. She got hands, too. So I still got some more skin tone to do. I think this hand right here is damn near spot on. We'll still try to beef it up a little bit, but I don't know. I know I got to work on this one a little bit, and I got this little bit of black on there. I need to paint over. That was an accident. But this hand right here looks really good from the first detail layer. I ain't gonna lie. But we'll finish up her skin tone and then we'll do her glasses. I'm pretty anxious to work on the glasses because they're see-through plastic. So to get that effect on there, I think those glasses are going to be fun to paint. But now I can jack it back up so I can reach the hands. Oh, is that too high? Yeah, that's too high now. Well, drop the easel. All right, that'll work right there. The couch is looking good. Skin tones is looking good. That background is not terrible. These shadows right here, I love these. I love that little shadow part right there. And this wood grain came out pretty good. Man, that looks nice right there. That wood grain do look real good. This little section right here, the couch. Making progress, people. Making progress. It's Wednesday, so we got Thursday. We got Thursday evening. And since I'm off Friday, you already know I'm being here first thing Friday morning. We're gonna try to put a few good hours in on Friday morning, definitely. And hell, between tomorrow and Friday, we'll definitely finish the skin tone, get those glasses done, and then where do we go from there? Her pants, I guess. Skin tone, glasses, hair, pants. We'll try to add a little highlights to the wood grain on this table, and then we'll start detailing the books for the final time. So I say this weekend and hopefully next weekend we'll be able to button this thing up and throw something else up on the easel. I'm extremely anxious to show this to people. These motherfuckers can't paint like me, man. Except for Measle. When I grow up, I want to be able to paint as good as the Measle does. But everybody else. Oh. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, I wrote a song last night. I know you guys may be surprised about that, but I did write a song. I'll share it with you guys tomorrow. I think I might have to edit it one more time, and then plus my my credits come back tomorrow too. I may roll. What song was I thinking about rolling again? Wealth of a Nation or one of them. I might play around with one other song for a minute because I've noticed it was not exactly what I wanted. So maybe we'll listen to some new music tomorrow. Might try to write something else tonight. I'm not sure. I did that shit at like 8 something, 9 o'clock, like right before I went to bed. I just had a little tune in my head that wouldn't go away. So I wrote it down. All right, guys, that's going to be our session for this afternoon. I can't do this shit without you guys. Y'all know that. It don't even feel the same. I really enjoy and appreciate the company. And most of all, the conversations. You guys are awesome. As painters, I think we all strive to paint like the master painter of the past. Hey, bro. The motherfuckers just did it different with no photographs for references and no digital backups. That shit was just pure talent and technical prowess, yo. Just sheer mastery of the craft. And they would have people, they would stage a scene and do a light sketching and probably bring people back but yeah, the way the Germans and Italians did it back in the day, some of my favorite art, man. It's just, they were just built fucking different, bro. They were just built different. I want to be like those guys. All right, guys. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a good evening, and we'll try it again tomorrow. Peace. Until next time. We out of here. Jerome is one of my favorite ones. Look up The Carpet Merchant. One of my favorite paintings of all time. The Carpet Merchant. It's so beautiful.